writing laws to stop pollution? What can the US do to reduce water pollution?
Well, we can look at our own backyard. Look at what we do as individuals. In California, we don't get free plastic bags of real chintzy that you can throw away in the last food and blue. You can actually not buy a plastic bag that's heavy. The plastic bags can now be manufactured in such a way that after they're in the sunlight around on the earth, they disintegrate. They become biological parts of the rest of the earth. So you can actually create products that once they're not used or viable, that they disintegrate and they don't become a problem. The other thing we can do, instead of trying to tell other countries what they should do, we should lead by showing people what we can do. If you look at the United States' 200-year history, it's amazing how much of the United States was forest. Unbelievable growth all over the place. And as we had more and more settlers come in, the first thing they do is cut down the trees and make farmland. Now granted, we produce a lot of food products, but we can now produce them using less and less land. We're becoming more and more efficient. So we could probably start replanting a lot of trees and forests will grow. That will create more oxygen. So instead of whining or crying or trying to change Brazil, which we should continue, we should have a backup plan where we grow as many trees as they burn or twice as many, so oxygen comes from the US. We could do the same with the lands and the water. Every year you hear there's tremendous flooding in the Midwest or on the East Coast. There's no reason to believe that we can't build large aquifers, canals, riverways to bring some of that water to the drier areas on the west. If you think about it, Mulholland took water from the Owens River Valley by gravity alone, brought it 240 miles to Los Angeles. And that was about 100 years ago. Had he not done that as an engineer working for DWP, LA would never have grown. So if they could do that 100 years ago with all the advances in technology we have today, with this many more people, why couldn't we bring water from the Midwest and the East Coast here? And why couldn't we plant trees? And we do that and we start to really see how the economy grows. Other countries say, hey, if those Americans can do it, we can do it. Maybe they'll say we can do it better, which is fine. They show us a better way, we improve ours. There's no reason that we have to stick our nose in everybody else's business. If you have a friend who's very successful and you're sitting there drinking tea with her, and she says, oh God, this, and that, and she's telling you how well she's done, what's the first thing in your mind? Boy, she's no smarter than me. If she can do it, I can do it. It's the same with countries, just larger scale.
Right. Is there ways to put pollution to what it should be expanded?
Yes, in fact, if you think about it, and this was on the news a few weeks ago now, there's a company that created a machine. The machine sucks in a lot of air in the city. And in the air, there's a lot of pollutants. It compresses the little particles, and it compresses them under heat. And believe it or not, as I recall, they actually make industrial diamonds out of this polluted material. And now industrial diamonds, they're not the ones ladies wear. They're kind of ugly, they're little, but they use them on saw blades and so forth. So if they can do that, even if it only does a tiny bit of the smog that's in the area, a tiny bit of the pollutants, it's a step in the right direction. So rather than hearing people complain, well, gee, the oil companies are going to make money doing that because they're the ones that... Who cares who invented it? Even if it's only a little step, maybe somebody else will figure out how to double the production. Maybe somebody else will say, well, gee, if you can do that with that particular form of pollution, maybe we can do even more when we go in the water. There's actually an African country where a Colombian firm went, and the Colombian company is designing schools. They're using bricks made out of old tires and other products, plastics and tires. These bricks have great insulation value, they're very strong, and they're actually taking a pollution like old tires and plastic, putting them together, making bricks to make new schoolhouses. Now, why can't we do that here? So there's a lot of things that are possible, and we don't need a lot of the naysayers. If the people think it's not good enough, fine. You come up with your idea. If you think that's a bad idea, where's your idea? If you can't come up with anything better, maybe it would be wiser to stay quiet and think.
We should have more education to educate Americans to reduce the pollution in daily life, like more advertisement or something like that.
Well, if you do things leading people by example, that would help. So what you can do is you can have classes in school. For example, politicians can give great speeches on liberty. Does that mean anybody who's a dictatorship is going to say, oh my God, that speech made me feel so great, I'm going to change our country into democracy? It's never going to happen. So you're going to have to face facts that you have to put an incentive in it beyond just making the climate better. The reason for it is people have been smoking for a long time. The number of smokers in the US has been reduced, but young people still start smoking. Even though it's been terrible for their health, you see commercials with poor people in the end stages of cancer. They look terrible. They put them on TV and then so 2 months after this or a week after this, they die. And it doesn't seem to stop people from smoking. On the other hand, if you tell them they can make money doing something, they can't wait to get in line, especially if it seems very easy and it doesn't take much effort. They'll line up. So if you want to stop pollution, you need to take a look at how can you reward a person and reward them immediately so they jump on it. I see in the mornings when I drive around, people walking around looking through people's trash cans for aluminum cans and plastic bottles. They're doing it all over the place. I don't care where you go. Why?
Yeah.
They can make money.
Yeah.
Does everybody do it? No. Do enough people do it? You betcha. In the city I live in, there's a line on specific days, and this line is like a quarter-mile long with people full of bags of plastic and aluminum cans because they're getting money. So if there's some way you can collect pollution or pollute or some pollution items and put a dollar value, it'll take care of itself. It's just a matter of the will. And that's what politicians should focus on. They shouldn't make all kinds of rules. If you don't do that, we're going to send the police out and we'll give you a $500 fine. That's not helpful. On the other hand, if you do this, you help, but you also get $10. And if you do it more, you get another $10. That's actually helpful.